Alright, YouTube, welcome back. Today on Kung Fu Science, I'm going to be talking about the utmost controversial subject in martial arts, Wing Chun. But anyway, why does Wing Chun suck? Why is it that Wing Chun is talked about to be this most scientific system, and there's so many people that rave about it, but then it gets in the ring, or there's all kinds of sparring videos, and they usually get their ass beat. Why does this happen? Why am I a huge practitioner and a big fan and a long-time student, a long-time teacher of Wing Chun if this keeps happening to people in Wing Chun? Well, today I'm going to give you some straight up, blunt answers about why this happens. Okay. Traditionally and historically and whatever you want to say, up till now, most of the time, Wing Chun is about self-defense. It's being taught as a self-defense system. What that means is that it's usually meant for the street. It's meant to fight the drunken frat boy. I'm gonna bring this up a couple times. It's meant to fight the drunken frat boy. It's meant to fight the asshole in the bar, or the guy who grabs your girlfriend's butt and pushes you, or whatever. It's not meant to fight a professional fighter. When you're training for self-defense, you're not usually training to fight a BJJ, a black belt, or a Muay Thai kickboxer. You're usually training to fight that drunken frat boy. That stupid asshole who's maybe watched some MMA before, he's gotten drunk and he's gotten pissed and he wants to give you a 1-2 or a tackle or a push or grab your wrist or put you in a headlock or something like that. But he's not a BJJ black belt. Alright, most of the time professional martial artists are, one, not seeking fights on the street, and two, when you do martial arts, usually you do avoid to fight with people. You usually avoid arguments on the street. I mean, if you're a professional fighter, you're trying not to ruin your career by getting in fights on the street. And if you're a martial arts instructor or a martial arts teacher, you know, usually one of the rules is to learn to use the sword, but try to never use it. You know, be the samurai. Learn to master the sword, but never use it. Try to never use it. Have your goal be never use it, especially in a lethal manner. So anyway, usually Wing Chun people are training like that. So that's fine. In fact, that shouldn't be a reason for me to say Wing Chun sucks, and it's not. I'll get to that. All right? So just hold with me, just bear with me. So it's usually trained for self-defense, and it's usually trained for street only, right? So people always say, well, it's got lethal strikes, it's got elbows that are down on the back of the head, it's got stuff that's not illegal in the ring at all whatsoever, eye gouges, nut shots, ear rips, fish hooks, etc., etc., etc. Okay, that's also fine, and that's true. It does have all of those things. Okay, now, another thing that you see a lot in Wing Chun classes is that they're usually only training against other Wing Chun. And a lot of martial arts are guilty of this. Most martial arts are guilty of this, where they only train against their peers in class, and they're always doing the same style. So, that being said, Wing Chun people are guilty of this, and that's a crucial issue for Wing Chun people, because no one else is going to do Wing Chun with you on the street or in the ring. You're not going to be fighting another Wing Chun guy. So the low elbows and chi sao and all that stuff, if you only practice it in a Wing Chun scenario, then as soon as someone throws a jab at you, you're going to be completely oblivious. You're going to be knocked for a wall, but you're going to have no idea what happened, because they're not extending, they're not doing a Wing Chun punch, they're not doing a vertical fist, they're not doing a low elbow. And I've got a video on how many different kind of punches are in Wing Chun. Should be over here, down there, somewhere over there. You'll see it, okay? It's there. That video, you need to watch this, because I don't believe in just the short low elbow punches in Wing Chun. Alright? So, I don't want to get too far into that, but go watch that video and you'll see what I mean. So that being said, if you watch a lot of Wing Chun videos, and you see hook defense, or the straight punch defense, or whatever, you see a couple of things. One thing you see is the guy just goes, puts his arm out there, right? If he even throws the right punch, He usually just puts it out there, right? And then the Wing Chun guy does all this cool shit on it. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. So, for a beginner, on like the first few weeks of training, you might have to hold the punch out for a little bit so they can understand what they're doing and they can experiment with the movement, you know, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. But as soon as you're able to get that down, you need to start speeding it up. You need to have the punch come back. You need to have the punch followed up by another punch. You cannot just go and then someone else do 37 moves to defend themselves. God, it doesn't work, okay? So, you know, there's demonstration, and sometimes, you know, a lot of times in demonstration, you know, the other guy is choreographed or whatever, the guy takes the fall, but it's demonstration, right? Demonstrations are gotta be cool. Demonstrations gotta be cool. But you can't practice in class in the demo mindset all the time. You can't do that. You can't choreograph your training all the time, okay? So, what else you see in the Wing Chun videos? Okay, so, yeah, the guy may punch and hold his arm straight out. Also, this one really gets me, is the attacker, supposed to be a street attacker, throws Wing Chun punches. Even if they don't know that's what they're doing, they got that damn low elbow. It's programmed in there. Now, the reason Wing Chun is so beautiful in demonstration is because it's done against other Wing Chun most of the time. If you want to make Wing Chun look good, you have to have Wing Chun triggering your Wing Chun. Right? The whole really cool, beautiful, bouncy stuff, that's usually because you're getting pushed around by other Wing Chun. You're usually getting bounced around by other Wing Chun. But you're not going to be able to go and do this like bomb foot punch thing, back fist, whatever, the thing you see a lot of people do, bomb foot punch against a straight punch. You're not going to be able to do that. So you'll see the guy will go, and he'll give him a low elbow punch. Right? That's easy to trigger a bongs out. You can throw your bongs out this way, you can throw your bongs out however you want. You're going to hit that low elbow punch. That's what it's designed for. Dealing with Wing Chun. Right? Okay, so boom. Then you can do that. Yes, then you can lock him back fist because the guy's arm is just perfectly shaped for that. Right? So if you see that in videos and the guy's like, here's some awesome live real Wing Chun stuff you can do on the street. But his partner, even if he's doing like round punches, he's usually got that low elbow. The guy obviously has no idea what he's doing. Right? So, if you're training martial arts for self-defense, you need to train outside your system. You can't just do Wing Chun and Wing Chun, right? You can't do that. You gotta be having a guy who's realistically trying to mess you up. Not beat you up, but mess you up. And what I mean by that is make your stuff not work. You want someone who's trying to resist your stuff. You can't just have someone go and go down after you've been doing this system for a long time. Yes, at the beginning that needs to happen, so you can build confidence, you can build understanding of the technique, but you have to get rid of that as soon as possible and replace it with someone who's trying to actually mess you up. And that being said, the other person who's training you also has to know how to throw punches that are not Wing Chun punches. So as a teacher, a responsibility, if you're a Wing Chun teacher or just a Wing Chun student, whatever, a responsibility of yours is to learn how to basically just do simple kickboxing and some wrestling, right? Because you want to be able to throw legit punches, kicks, and wrestling techniques on someone. You want to be able to throw those. And even if you aren't really super good at them, which most people on the street, if they're going to be applying that, like I said before, most people on the street aren't going to be really super good at them. They may even be a drunken frat boy. But a drunken frat boy might watch some MMA. He might like Boss Rootin'. He might like boxing. He might like just a certain kind of fighting style that he watches on TV, and maybe he doesn't practice it, but it's still in there, and he may try to emulate it when he's coming after you, right? He's not going to come after you like this, right? This is not going to happen unless he's a big Yip Man fan or something. He's seen the movies and he wants to do that, but that's just probably not going to happen. And if it does happen, then if you've been training Wing Chun at all, then you'll probably be able to handle that just by reflex, if that does happen, where he emulates Wing Chun for some reason. But you need to be able to emulate that sort of attacks for your training partners, for your students. It has to happen. If you don't do it, then you're not training for real. Alright? So anyway, one thing that makes Wing Chun suck is that people train it for self-defense only and don't train it even very good, and don't train it very well, and don't train it against other people who know what they're throwing. Alright? So, The second reason Wing Chun sucks so bad is because people be talking shit. Alright? People talking shit. If you do Wing Chun, if you do martial arts for self-defense only, do not talk shit. If you do martial arts for self-defense only, do not talk shit. Alright? What do I mean? Do not say Wing Chun can beat any other martial art. Wing Chun's the most powerful martial art in the world. Boxing guys, MMA guys, you're stupid. You're hiding behind your cages. You're hiding behind your rules, your rings. You get in the street and there's glass and there's concrete and there's eye gouges and nut shots. Yes, those are all there, but don't freaking talk about it and expect to make a good name for Wing Chun. Because you're gonna get your ass beat. If you fight someone who knows what they're doing, you fight a fighter who's trained to fight other fighters, he's going to destroy you because you're only training to fight somebody on the street. And most likely, if you're even training realistically, you're probably only training to take somebody out who knows some simple stuff. Right? So if you go in there and you're gonna spar somebody or fight somebody who does MMA and you don't immediately blitz them, you don't immediately just take them off guard and just absolutely destroy them and end up on a top position in the ground and pound and get the fight called off, you're gonna probably lose because you're just not prepared for that. You're not trained for that, right? So if you do Wing Chun for self-defense only, just don't talk trash. All right? Don't do it because it's stupid and it's giving Wing Chun a bad name. It's giving Wing Chun a bad name. Now, that being said, you can fix those things by sparring. You can fix all of the issues in Wing Chun by either A, shut the hell up and stop talking trash, because I have no problem with training Wing Chun for self-defense. In fact, I still teach it for self-defense, and I practice for self-defense myself. But I also do this other things that I'm getting ready to talk about. So, for one, I don't talk shit, right? For one, I don't talk shit. But two, I train against somebody who knows what they're doing. And I also train in other systems besides Wing Chun so that I can know what they're doing and how it's done. Wing Chun can totally work in the ring. Wing Chun can totally work in a spar. And then, some people might say, well, if you take the lethal stuff out of Wing Chun, you're not really doing Wing Chun anymore. Humbug. Alright? Shut up. Don't even. Shut up. Of course Wing Chun is lethal. Of course it's primarily meant for the street. But martial arts are all meant for the street originally. Martial means to kill. Martial means not good things. Martial art means to fuck somebody up. Martial arts mean to destroy another human being, right? But it's not that time anymore. It's not the day and age where you have to be a high caliber master street warrior to do martial arts, right? Nowadays, there's rules and there's cops and there's guns and there's a law. There's law to a certain extent for now, but that's another video for another topic and another time. But anyway, you can train martial arts nowadays, and if you're going to do it, and you want to actually have people punching at you, then the only way to do it is to train it to fight in the ring. So it has to be modified, it has to be adapted to where it's not super lethal, and it's still lethal. I mean, the thing is, when you are fighting professionally, the other guy's also a professional fighter. He's had the conditioning, his body's prepared. But if you train in boxing, and you're really a high caliber boxer, and you put one right on the chin of a nobody, of a street guy, you could straight up kill him. You hit him in the temple or something, you straight up kill him. Punch him in the chest, bust his heart, his kidneys, his liver. I mean, that's the thing. All martial arts are lethal. But in the ring, it can totally be done. Wing Chun can totally be done. How do you do that then? Well, we need to go out and we need to either A, shut the hell up and stop talking shit, or show up and put up. Right? We need to put up our dukes and go out there and show that it works. Right? Now, my training partner, Gabe, he's going to go into the professional game. He is literally pursuing that course, and he's going to show that Wing Chun works. And be on the lookout for him. Gabe Tyara, be on the lookout for him. But I'm also wanting to do some professional fights myself. or some amateur MMA fights, some amateur boxing fights. You know, I want to do those things for the experience and for the proof, but my main focus is teaching. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to practice and teach. I'm not too into the gladiator aspect of it all. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to spar a lot, and I'm going to have all sorts of videos on that, where I'm going to be sparring people of different lineages, going to be sparring people of different styles and systems, so be on the lookout for that as well. So that being said, how do you make it better? How do you change it? How do you show Wing Chun can work? Well, how do you make it to where you can spar? You have your students training kickboxing as well. You teach everyone in the class basic kickboxing as well. And then you experiment with your Wing Chun against that. And these other students that are also learning kickboxing and Wing Chun at the same time learn the strengths and weaknesses of the way Wing Chun is done, where the person's just standing there throwing basic attacks at them and it's super easy and they're going down. The person who's doing kickboxing will be able to move, kick his legs, change his range, and keep him on the run, keep him thinking, keep him guessing, you know, and he knows that he does Wing Chun, so he knows what he's going to be doing. That way, you have to stay honest. That way, you have to develop your system in a way that it will be able to handle more than just one or two punches coming in at it and then just blitzing the guy. You know, and it doesn't mean you have to abandon the rules of Wing Chun. I believe that the blitz defense process, that just guy steps towards you and you just destroy him, I feel like that is just the basics of Wing Chun. I feel like it should totally be able to spar. I mean, how was it even developed if they didn't do that? If they didn't spar? I mean, you have to. You have to. And I mean, if you want that, or you have to shut up. Like I said, that you have to shut up and not talk shit and just train for self-defense and keep it there. But I mean, you don't have to be running your mouth, right? But if you do want to prove that Wing Chun can do a thing, then you have to do the thing, right? And I don't see much of that. You don't see much of that. So that's what needs to happen. If you're a Wing Chun practitioner, spar. Ask people that do other styles to help you make your system better. Like, you find friends that do other systems that don't know Wing Chun, and that's where it's really fun. Because if we have this one guy who comes in to train with us who does MMA only, and he's pretty easy at my level. He's pretty easy because he doesn't know Wing Chun. He has no idea what I'm gonna do, and that gives me an advantage that he's not used to seeing. He's used to seeing a guy who's also squaring up, who's just going to be throwing, you know, the same thing that he knows how to do, right? So he's prepared for that. He's not used to someone who can slap his hands in a way that I can, or who comes at him from angles that I do, or is so relaxed, or whose arms can bounce off. It's not one punch and then it has to come back and reload and do another. The punch can bounce and keep coming. There's stuff that they're just not used to handling. So spar outside of your system. Make friends and spar outside of your system. And also train outside of your system. Learn how BJJ guy fighters do their thing. Learn how takedowns work. Learn how to do those takedowns so that you can do them on your partners in class. To keep people real. Keep people alive. Ask your teacher. If you're a student, ask your teacher, well, how do you deal against this? And learn some BJJ. And go and take a couple of classes and learn some takedowns and try to wrap your teacher up and see what happens. You know, and either A, he might actually wrap him up by surprise. B, he may shun you and shut it down and say, no, we don't do that, this is self-defense, I will just poke you in the eyes, right? If he gives you that excuse, be like, well, what if I want to spar with this? You know, see what happens when that happens. See what happens when you ask that question. Gauge that, because that response is really important. So really just know why you're training, what you're training for, and keep it real. Just keep it real, people. Shut your mouth, don't talk shit, put in the work, and show up. Like, show up and put up or shut up. You know? Just do the work or don't. It's up to you. So anyway, that's my advice. Keep it real. Spar, train, ask questions, be realistic. Right? Wing Chun can totally work outside of its nature, of its basic. Wing Chun can totally work outside of the box. Can totally work outside of its I don't know, traditional points of views or whatever you want to call it. The self-defense block is not the only block that Wing Chun can function in. I remembered one subject about slipping punches. Okay, so if your Wing Chun guy only trains straight punches like this, you know, those are so easy to slip. It's so easy to slip a punch. If you don't know about slipping, it's a martial arts technique where you move your head out of the way of the punch. All you need to move is like 3 inches. Right? Unless the guy's got like a huge boxing glove, then you might have to move more inches than that. But when a fist is coming in, boom, that's all it takes to get rid of the fist. And if I go whoom and then whoom and take your legs, you're going down. You're going down. And if you're not used to that, you're not used to training against that, you lose the fight. And if it's on the street, you really lose the fight. You could lose your life. You could lose your life. So keep that in mind. Keep the fact in mind that it only takes 1 second to dodge a punch and to close the gap and take you down. And if you're not prepared for that, if you've not trained against that, you're in trouble. Big, big, big trouble. And if you're not trained against that, and you're not prepared for that, do not talk shit. I'm going to say that over and over and over again. That's a big problem. Is all the trash talk, all you keyboard warriors out there. Blah, 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 blah. Put up, shut up. One or the other. If you're a keyboard warrior and you have an issue with me, or you have an issue with what I said, definitely give me a thumbs down. Comment on it. I want to see it. I want to see what you've got to say. I want to see what you got to say. I would love to discuss it further. Would love to. Alright. Until next time, thank you for watching Kung Fu Science. What's in your Kung Fu?